Awesome. All right, so we'll start off this talk then. So we'll be going over kind of how this weekend at PreHacks is going to look like. This is going to go over kind of specifically PreHacks as an event, but also maybe hackathons in general that you might be able to go to around the country, whether it's digital or whether it's online or in person. In-person hackathons will just have some extra stuff like food and sleeping arrangements and other logistics that you won't see during a digital event. But in terms of a digital event, so this is the first half of the timeline that I have kind of starting with the event. So first we have kind of before opening ceremony things. We'll go over kind of things you want to do to prepare, what you want to make sure you have or get access to before the event starts. And then next we'll have opening ceremony during the event, and that's kind of the big starting point. And there'll be in-depth slides for each of these. I'm just kind of going over high level about what the weekend's going to look like. And ceremony on that night, we'll also do a team matching session for people who may be looking to fill out their team, or if they are looking for a team themselves. And then we'll go over the events and activities, the workshops and tech talks, and networking throughout the entire weekend. We'll have those sporadically scheduled, some on Friday, some on Saturday, and a handful on Sunday in terms of activities leading up to your submission. After that, specifically talking about Sunday, which is that last day, it's the final crunch time that a lot of hackers kind of feel, that last night that before you submit. And then we'll go into submissions, project expo, and so kind of being able to see other hackers' projects. We'll go into a little bit about judging, and then finally we'll finish off with closing ceremony, which will signify the end of the event. So I lost the slide. Okay, I lost the before opening ceremony slide somewhere. All right. Well, I guess going back to before opening ceremony, I'll just kind of rattle off what we have for what I had for that. That slide talked about kind of you want to make sure that you have access to the event's platform. So for example, for PreHacks, it'll be Hopin, and you guys are here, so that's good. But for people in the future that are looking at this video for PreHacks, being able to access the Discord that you may need, Hopin for digital hackathons, or Slack, or or Zoom links, depending on the event. You also want to make sure that you have your tech prepared so that if you need access to your desktop or your laptop for a digital event, it's not as big of a problem because you'll be right there. But when you're going in person, you'll want to be able to bring, not forget a charger, not forget, a stylus if you're doing design work during the event, stuff like that. And then also, you want to make sure you grab your teammates, or be ready to look for a team, and kind of be able to show off what what skills you're looking to work on, and what skills you're an expert at, so that it's easier to find teams, and you can match up with people that are looking to work on projects in the same language or the same tech stack as you, whether it be JavaScript or Python. And then another big thing before opening ceremony, before the event starts, is that you can ideate, and you can come up with project ideas before the event starts, which is very different than if you were to start working on these projects and start writing lines of code. Two very different things. And so something that you can do before the event starts is come up with brainstorm ideas, throw some out, kind of see what sticks to the wall, so that when opening ceremony ends and you're ready to start hacking, you have an idea ready to go, and a general direction to flow in. And so I guess then we'll go into the opening ceremony slide. And so the opening ceremony is the official start of the hackathon. It's where everybody, in-person events, but here for PreHacks, will be all in on the stage on Hopin, where we'll have a series of talks from, you'll hear PreHacks team members talk about logistics of the event. We'll go over the schedule. We'll go over any resources you may need, how to get into the Discord and things like that. We'll have our sponsors will give a few words. For example, the bottom two pictures on the left there are two of our sponsors from our 2019 iteration, Centene and Panera. We will have a few words from them to thank, and let them show kind of what they're here for, and what they're able to do for what they were able to do for PreHacks. And then MLH will also give a talk in terms of logistics of the event on their side, and also MLH code of conduct and other logistics that come with working with having MLH be a part of PreHacks. Next, we'll do team matching after opening ceremony. And so along with team matching is where hacking officially begins, where you can start working on your project, start pushing up code, start creating code and designs. For team matching, we'll have that in Discord. We'll be sitting in a voice chat and kind of we'll be sitting in a voice chat, but also have a text chat for you to kind of introduce yourself, give skills you want to work on this weekend, or skills that you're good at, and so maybe you can pair up with other people. So maybe you're good at front end work with HTML, with React, and you can pair up with people that work really well in the back end, so some C# or SQL and other database languages. Team sizes will be max 4. A maximum of 4 people to a team. You can work with as many, or with up to 4, or as little. You can work by yourself if you wanted to, and so anywhere in between there. Next are workshops and tech talks. And so for PreHacks this weekend, primarily workshops and tech talks will primarily happen on Saturday. We have a couple from our big sponsors like Panera and Centene. We'll also have some from guest speakers. One of them is creating an Instagram filter, and the other one is on kind of what it's like to be in product management. We'll have talks here and there as well for other smaller things in terms of things hosted by the team, like on office hours for you to kind of ask questions. For example, we'll go over that later in the submissions part for DevPost, if you have any questions like that. Then we have events and activities, and so we'll provide regular announcements for these in the Discord, but we'll have different games and tournaments and kind of competitions like that for you guys to kind of take a break from hacking, or kind of look away from your project and reset a little bit. We'll be having games put on by MLH as well as us. For example, MLH in person does this cup stacking event that you see on the left. For this upcoming hackathon, they'll be hosting a couple events, one of which is a CTF, for example, on the first night. And on the PreHacks side, we'll be hosting a Clash of Code tournament that you can win prizes from. For these events, feel free, none of this is required for you to show up, but definitely we'd love to see as many people participate and try their hand at Clash of Code or CTFs that MLH will host. Next, we'll have networking, and so this kind of aspect of the hackathon goes on throughout the entire event. So there's not a set time for this. Although you'll see people be active during different times of the day. Sometimes it's 2 in the morning. Sometimes it's 2 in the afternoon. On Hopin specifically, we'll have if you've noticed on the left side of the on the left sidebar there's a networking feature, and so that's kind of an Omegle type sort of deal where you go one-on-one with strangers, and you get to meet somebody new, and you can talk about what you guys are doing here at PreHacks and whatnot. We'll also have voice chats that are just for you to sit in and chill on Discord. A lot of us organizers will be in those as well. If you want to hang with us and kind of simulate this. Usually at hackathons, there'll be a table where you'll see all the organizers that you can come hang out with. This will, serve that purpose for us. We'll be there. Feel free to come ask us questions, or vent, or comment about, projects that you're working on, or, need any resources, you can come to us. On top of this, networking also applies with our sponsors, and that comes in the form of, talking to company reps that will be there. You'll see them marked out by their roles, but also, mentors and other speakers that are at the event. You feel free to DM them on Discord, have some sort of chat. You can also do that on Hopin. But yeah, we invite you and, welcome you to talk with sponsors, because, that's what they're here for the whole weekend, kind of taking time out of their work and being here to essentially, network their or advertise their company for us. And I've seen some instances where, networking with companies leads to different things like internships and just connections that you can use later on. And so we'll have a lot of sponsors here, and you'll be able to talk to them throughout the event. So that was kind of an overview of Friday and Saturday. So this is a recap before we get into this. Friday, you'll see opening ceremony, and then we'll have team matching and a handful of activities. But throughout the open time in between is when you're hacking and, creating your website or creating your hardware, designing your project or whatever. And then throughout Saturday is more of the same, but we'll have a lot of emphasis on workshops and tech talks put on by guest speakers and sponsors. And then throughout the night, we'll also have activities for you to kind of take a break before this final crunch time, which is kind of that period of time before submissions, but after Saturday. So kind of that 12 a.m. on Sunday to, in our case, 11 a.m. on Sunday. And so this is the night that, is infamous for, you don't sleep during this night. Usually you spend the whole time coding away, trying to get something ready and out the door to present. So here's, this little big thing with hackathons that I miss, is being able to kind of stay up and get this product kind of finished in time for a submission. Something that we advise is, before you start this, this final crunch, is to have a submission early, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in our submission slide, where you can have a submission on DevPost of an unfinished project, and you can always go back and edit that later. What helps with that is, if, let's say, you oversleep because you decide to take a nap or anything like that, and you miss the deadline, you have something submitted, at least, to be able to talk through, to present, and to be considered for prizes. When it comes to this crunch time and, needing help with code, we encourage you to reach out to mentors as well as other hackers, because while, we here are a lot of maybe beginners or not beginners, throughout the event, you'll meet a lot of people that know a lot of different things. And so I've reached out to other people before, asking them, debugging questions on something like JavaScript or Node.js backends. And so, reach out to mentors and other hackers in Discord or in Hopin, and, you'll get the help that you hopefully get the help that you need in terms of, finishing that project out that Sunday, early morning. So then we go into submissions on Sunday. And so our submissions will all go through DevPost here. So for PreHacks. And so we'll have kind of submission guidelines for you, and rules in terms of the submissions onto DevPost. But in general, we're looking for a video submission, so where you kind of go over your hack, go over the purpose, and all of that stuff. We'll have kind of a guideline for what to talk about in that video. Videos you can record however you want to. We just ask that we're able to access them. For example, for Pickle Hack, for our mini hackathon this past fall, we had a group posted on YouTube, and while we were watching the video, the video was copyright striked. And so we had to kind of go through some hoops there to see their submission. So just be careful of that. As a heads up, video submissions we're going to put a limit of 5 minutes. You can take less than 5 minutes if you want to, but your videos cannot go longer than 5 minutes. Some other rules that we have, kind of just as a heads up, that you'll also see this all officially on DevPost when that is published, is, for example, hacks and projects that you come up with for this weekend need to be started at that 7 p.m. mark, that after opening ceremony, when hacking actually begins, and not any time before that. And submissions need to happen by 11 a.m. on that Sunday. For projects that are submitted to PreHacks, the project has to be submitted to PreHacks and only PreHacks, and so we're not allowing any projects that we might see submitted to other dev posts. In that there are other hackathons happening at the same time as ours. In terms of the company prizes that will be up for grabs, as well as the category specific prizes. Company prizes, they'll have their own prompt, and so you'll be able to check off if you want to compete for those prizes in the dev post, and you'll see what requirements they have way before in advance to you submitting on that Friday. And for things like best beginner, best female, and best high school, the rule that we have, and I think this is a change from yesterday, is that for the best female hack, your team has to be 50% female, so half or more, so 1 out of 2 or more. But for best beginner and best high school, we are restricting teams to be a majority, so higher than 50% for those teams that are competing for those prizes. And then on that Sunday, we'll be hosting a dev post office hours to help you submit your questions, to help you answer questions that you have with submitting. If you have any problems with what should go on the dev post or getting things uploaded to the dev post, we'll be there for that. And so just keep an eye out for that announcement if you have any problems. But on top of that, if you have questions, you don't need to wait until these office hours to ask them. Feel free to reach out to us at any time, to hackers or to the board. You'll see them marked with a PH next to their name in the Discord, as well as in the Hopin. After submissions happen, you'll see that there's a project expo. And so what this will be is we'll link to the Discord or the dev post in Discord for you to kind of browse around at other projects that other hackers have submitted. And so you'll be able to go through kind of the different tracks that we have, as well as watch their videos and see the journey that they've been through during the weekend. You'll be able to kind of vote. You'll be able to vote on dev post for your favorite projects. I think there are features to kind of like and comment on projects, and so it'd be cool to see everybody to give your fellow hackers compliments on the work that they've done that weekend, and kind of see what everybody likes to what hack everybody has kind of liked throughout that weekend. And while your project expo is happening, in the background, we'll be going through judging. And so in terms of judging, it'll be a mix of the PreHacks team, as well as sponsors and mentors that you have encountered or talked to throughout the weekend. It'll be based on a lot of on these things right here: originality, usefulness, the polish of the project, and the difficulty. So a mix of that, but also how well does your hack relate to the theme that you have, or more specifically the track that you go for. So for example, if it's a gaming hack, it doesn't necessarily need to be about a game, but it should be about gaming in general. So things like that we'll be going over and judging. So we'll be looking at all of your projects, multiple eyeballs on multiple projects, and then by the end of it, we'll have winners decided. We'll have the winners decided and announced during closing ceremony. So closing ceremony happens on the last day of the hackathon. So for PreHacks, it'll be Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We thank you guys, the hackers, all of our sponsors that came, making the event happen, and we go over all of the prizes and winners of the weekend. So companies will have their sponsored prizes that they'll announce. MLH is also giving out some prizes. So if you're competing for those, you'll be announced for those winners if you win. And then we'll also announce the winners for PreHacks. So the first and second place for each of the tracks, and as well as each of the categories. So best beginner, best female, best high school. And then you'll also get to see the submissions for those hacks. during closing ceremony, so that we can kind of show off the big winners for PreHacks. So that is all I have for kind of a walkthrough of what this weekend will look like. Keep in mind, this is a very general kind of timeline, but it covers a lot of what you'll see throughout this weekend. In between all of the events, all of the workshops, all of the announcements that you'll see are times for you to hack or get food, catch up on rest, those kinds of things. And, however you work on your project, if you want to pull a 72-hour all-nighter, or if you want to sleep soundly and still finish your project, it's up to you guys. I remember one time I went to Purdue's Hackathon Boilermake, and I had to drive back after getting like a 4-hour nap before judging. So because I needed that time up until like 6 a.m. to be able to finish my project. So yeah, I mean, if there's any questions, feel free to ask them now. I can stop sharing my screen.